It's the Real News Network. I'm Greg Wilpert. It looks like Germany's Chancellor Angela Merkel might have saved her government and the European Union, at least temporarily, over the issue of immigration. That is, last Monday, she announced that refugees coming from Southern Europe would for now be held in so-called transition centers or transit centers for up to 48 hours, where officials will determine whether refugees who have applied for asylum in other European countries would be returned to that country. Here's what Chancellor Merkel had to say on Wednesday about the deal.
At the moment, we are working on how to respond within Europe. And here we are saying that the person who is applying for asylum and protection can't choose the country where they will reside. But the frontline states cannot be left alone. That is part of it, and that is why the topic of distribution is so important, and Germany has always shown solidarity.
Austria reacted quickly, saying that they might have to institute a similar policy on its southern border. Here's Austria's Chancellor Sebastian Kurz.
One thing is clear to us. We're prepared for all scenarios and are also prepared to take all measures necessary to avert damage not only to our republic, but also to the population in Austria. We're prepared to answer national measures by the Germans by setting measures at our borders, especially at our southern borders.
The issue threatens the stability of both the European Union and the German government. That is, Chancellor Merkel's coalition government of three parties, her own Christian Democratic Union, the Conservative Christian Social Union, and the Social Democratic Party, disagree on how to deal with refugees crossing the open EU borders into Germany. Instituting hard border controls, however, risks one of the EU's main principles, that of freedom of movement. Joining me now to analyze the latest developments in Germany's border policies is Annette Groth. Annette is a former member of the Bundestag for the Left Party, Die Linke. She was also a member of the Parliamentary Committee on Migration, Refugees and Displaced Persons of the Council of Europe. Welcome back, Annette.
Hello.
So how will this deal now be implemented as far as we can tell? That is, will there be passport controls at Germany's southern borders, mainly Austria and possibly Czechia? Or if not, how will border agents know who is a potential refugee or immigrant and who is not?
Everybody would like to know this because it is a complete mess. It is a complete open question. You know, the border between Austria and Germany is only 800 kilometers long. So there are some normal borders, but there is a green border as well. So if they want to place along the border policemen or border police, it is completely unrealistic and it will not work. And everybody, I guess, knows that. So what troubles me more is really the idea of establishing so-called, as you said, transition or transit centers, anchor hotspots, as we call it, or they used to call it hotspots. We can see what is how a hotspot is working, or working in brackets, is, for instance, in Lesbos, in Greece, because they have such a hotspot or a place where they put up refugees. Horrible conditions. I mean, it is a shame for Europe, for the Greek government, but also for the European Union. And if they want to establish hotspots or whatever these centers may be called in outside Europe, in Libya or Niger or wheresoever, I mean, it is nobody can really ensure that the people will have the opportunity, fair treatment to apply for asylum. This is a nightmare and Europe should just forget it as soon as possible.
Give us a quick idea as to what exactly is the issue or the problem with these kinds of hotspots or transit centers.
I mean, there was just a big report in our newspapers about Moria. This is in Lesbos. Your maximum capacity is 2,500 people. There are now, for at least several months, more than 7,000. The NGOs may not enter. There is a complete sealed off area. Police police center, and people are getting sick. People have no right or no possibility to ask for asylum because there are no lawyers permitted in, etc., etc. It's a big disaster. Rats and the human conditions are just inhuman. So these centers like this one should be closed immediately. And if the European Union really considers to establish centers like this elsewhere, it is, as I said, a nightmare. And what is Europe doing is keeping out the refugees out of their territory. Yeah, this is all about it, and has nothing to do with our right to apply for asylum for people who need it to escape from war, from terror, from disasters, etc. They should think what happened in the 30s. Nobody wanted to have the Jewish refugees. Same story now.
Well, assuming that we get a better idea as to exactly how this is going to work, will this compromise save Merkel's government? That is, will her coalition partners, the Christian Social Union and the Social Democratic Party, agree to this deal?
I have my doubts, because Merkel is today in Hungary and sees and meets with Orban, the right-wing leader from Hungary. Sebastian Kurz already announced that he definitely is not ready to take back refugees that would be sent back from Germany to Austria. I mean, as I said, though, it's a vicious circle. Nobody wants them, and what do you do with people just entering Italy, and then they are moving direction up north? And if they have registered in Italy or not, I mean, it is the whole issue is not solved, and Germany or Austria or the other European countries cannot just close their borders, because it is indeed against the European Union's principle. Freedom of movement means up till now, or increasingly, freedom of movement for capital, for money, because this freedom is just unrestricted. But people, no, there's no freedom of movement any longer.
I just want to turn now to other. Sorry, did you want to add something?
No, we see what will happen, you know, with the coalition. I mean, the Social Democratic Party until now raised hardly any criticism, towards this new proposal, and so everybody now is waiting how they will react, and what is their proposal, and what is a social Christian social union, you know, Seehofer and these people going to do. I guess Merkel should have sent him, you know, when he offered his resignation, she should have said, yes, thank you so much for your service, now go home to Bavaria.
I should probably just add for clarification that you're talking about Horst Seehofer, the Interior Minister of Germany, who threatened to resign over this issue, but hasn't in order to, because they want to keep the coalition together. Let me just turn to the other parties, that is the Alternative for Germany, the AfD, which now is the largest opposition party since September. I mean, it's not much larger than the other parties, but still with 11% of the vote, it's larger than the other 3 or 4 parties. It seems that their rhetoric and their electoral success has been driving the Christian Social Union further to the right, that is Horst Seehofer's, the Interior Minister's party. One of the elements of their rhetoric, of course, has been this idea that there's too many immigrants in Germany and they're causing a crime wave. What's your response to these kinds of claims?
This is really nonsense. I mean, foreigners, migrants, refugees are not more criminal than Germans. In the contrary, I mean, the criminal rate in Germany has gone down quite substantially, by the way, last year, and everybody knows it. But if you repeat, you know, these refugees, migrants are more criminal, they commit, you are violating our women, they are stealing, they are using our social benefits, etc., etc. You just keep reiterating lies or fake news or half 50% news. So people get confused, and you know what Brecht once said, you have to repeat a lie often enough, then people tend to believe it. It's exactly this. This is like in the US, by the way, and elsewhere. So, and you're right, the AfD, the Alternative for Germany, they are pushing Germany, and particularly the CSU, Christian Social Union, to the right. So Bavaria has national elections in October. So there is a competition now between the CSU, Christian Social Union. It's hard for me to pronounce it because they are either Christian or social, but the contrary. So they compete with the AfD. Yeah, and the recent polls show clearly that the CSU is not winning by this right-wing rhetoric, but is losing. So I would rather, the people are rather voting for the original than for the copy, and it's so stupid. And we see this in other countries as well. If democratic parties try to imitate or repeat the rhetoric of the far right, it doesn't matter because the far right will nevertheless win. We have seen this in Poland, in Hungary, and in other countries.
So finally, I just want to turn to Die Linke. You're a former member of the Bundestag for Die Linke, the left party. Have they taken a position with regard to all of this?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. My former colleague, who is the speaker for interior policy, she is really harshly. The Linke is completely against it, and has repeated this I don't know how many times. But for us, we are now a rather small opposition party in comparison to AfD. You know, it's very hard to get our voice into the media. This is also a concern, and I realize this. We hear also AfD and CSU and all these right-wing parties, but leftists, sometimes you hear the Green Party also vigorously against these new ideas. But I mean, we have to challenge the Social Democratic Party, yeah? Because they are in the coalition with Merkel and the others, and they are. They until now they also condemned it and criticized this concept, but at the moment they are rather weak in their criticism. No clear position.
Okay, I'm afraid we're going to have to leave it there for now. I was speaking to Annette Groth, former member of the Parliamentary Committee on Migration, Refugees, and Displaced Persons of the Council of Europe. Thanks for joining us today, Annette.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
And thank you for joining the Real News Network. Also keep in mind, we recently started our summer fundraiser and need your help to reach our goal of raising $200,000. Every dollar that you donate will be matched. Unlike practically all other news outlets, we do not accept support from governments or corporations. Please do what you can today.